displayed and owned by the RACV. First owned by authorised RACV service providers, these two vehicles have been restored recently by the RACV's mechanical staff. The Holden is a 1963 EJ model, and it is set up as it would have been in service. The Bedford tow truck is a 1946 K model, a very smart and stylish machine. This truck worked in the Castlemaine area and was purchased by the RACV in 1988, restoration being completed in 1991. I'm speaking to Laurie Grass, a driver for Jets Road, and I wonder if you could tell me a little bit about your job, Laurie, and about the truck.
Well, we've spec'd these new vehicles up, which are about 6 weeks old, specifically for line haul work, mainly between Melbourne and Tarcutta, 5 or 6 nights a week, and they're utilised also through the day on local pickups and deliveries by our team of local drivers. The driver committee was put together to select the best possible vehicles for our jobs, and these are the ones we come up with, the S3600 Internationals, and so far we've been extremely happy with them.
So the drivers actually chose the truck instead of the management telling you which ones you're going to drive?
That's basically it, yes. We had a driver committee that put forward, we test drove a lot of different makes and models, and we chose the International at this stage to be the best vehicle for our job.
Very progressive thinking there at Main Nicholas by the sounds of it.
Yes, we've got some very good management within our company, and makes it a lot easier to do your job.
Well, that's great. Now the Morris over there, Laurie, is that one of your line haul trucks, or is that a little bit past line haul
That
work?
was a bit before my time, of course, but I believe that was one of the original vehicles that Main Nicholas did use in their early days. We don't get run over here. And it was restored some years ago by a company employee that had been with the company for 30 odd years, and who was into restoration of these type of vehicles. It has been displayed in corporate headquarters in St Kilda Road, and as of late has been stored in our depot in Footscray Road.
So it's actually a road-going vehicle. The motor works, everything functions on it?
Yes, it can be made to go, just that we've run out of time today to get it running, but it does go.
Oh, terrific. All right, Laurie, well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for bringing a display along.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A 1946 Chevrolet tray truck owned by Martin Egan. This is the second display day this vehicle has been shown at, and Martin did most of the work himself, and it certainly is a credit to him, the finish that Martin has put into this vehicle. It certainly shows. The interior is beautifully finished, new seat covers, new lining, the steering wheel has been pearlised, the dashboard is as it would have been, and the instrument panel, I can remember them, that sort of brown tan colour with the quite bold numbers there for the speedo, that white plastic even to the right of the instrument panel. It's exactly as I remember them. My father had 3 of these actually. We had a fuel business in Melbourne area, and I can remember father having 3 of these, and they certainly put in some hard work, and he was well rewarded by them. They didn't give him all that much trouble, although we used to load them probably twice the capacity. They're probably only 3 to 4 tonnes, and it was nothing for my father to put on 6.5 tonne of briquettes or coal, and this was happening day after day, and they gave us very little trouble. Graham Pollard's impressive looking 1948 English Fordson tray truck. This truck is very rare in that there were very few imported, and also rare in it being a 6-wheeler. Graham has driven this truck to many display days since restoration, and it is certainly attracting a lot of attention whenever it is shown. This Nubian Thornycroft, is that what it's called, Gregor?
A Thornycroft Nubian. This chassis was built about 1955 and it came as a bare chassis to Australia. They were bought in pairs by the Air Force and Department of Civil Aviation. They were intended for putting out aircraft that were on fire. This one was at the Fairbairn Airport Base and Canberra Airport, and I'm lucky enough to be the second owner after the Commonwealth. They called it the Rabbiter there because the people who operated it, they used to take it up in the hills all around to do their fire drill, and they would block up a rabbit warren set of burrows except for two. They'd stand by one and pour foam down the other and catch these nice juicy rabbits coming out.
So all our taxes were going to some rabbit hunting?
Yes, providing something useful for a change and giving this Thornycroft a lot of exercise. That was fire drill. They had to do fire drill in these. The other one of the pair came with a Thornycroft cab and it rushed after this one and pumped water into it. This one has a foam pump that passes 5 tonnes a minute and a water pump that passes 2 tonnes a minute. And this vehicle doesn't quite hold 5 tonnes of water, so the other one rushed up behind it, and it had only enough for about 3 or 4 minutes pumping. They tell me after that you've lost the people and you've lost the plane. So there's no...
just switch off and go home.
That's the idea. It's built on an all-terrain military chassis, a 6x6 Thornycroft Nubian chassis, and this was done so that they could get to aircraft that failed to get to the runway, might have crashed in nearby hills or something. And it had to be able to drive at cyclone wire fences and cut through them, hence the knives. There are 2 upper knives on the bar and 2 lower knives on that apron below. And they used to do acceptance tests of these things and drive them at such fences and make sure they would go through.
Ah, so they're nice and sharp.
They're sharp, all right. Must be made of something good too.
Maintain the sharpness, I would imagine, too.
Yes.
And
yes.
What sort of motor does this have in it, Gregor?
It has a straight 8-cylinder Rolls-Royce military engine, model B81. That's a high durability version of the earlier B80. It's 6.6 litres, drives through a twin plate clutch. You can feel it. You feel the first plate take up and you move a little bit, and then you feel the second one take up and off you go. To a Thornycroft 4-speed and reverse gearbox. That drives to another Thornycroft gearbox with 1 shaft coming in and 4 shafts sticking out all round it. 1 for the front drive, 1 for the rear drive, which is a double worm, 1 for the water pump and 1 for the foam pump.
So it sounds like it could be a mechanic's nightmare.
No, it has. I've owned it for about 8 years. I haven't used it a lot. It has never given me the slightest bit of trouble. Everything is so easy to get at, easy to maintain. I've done the brakes up on it. That was easy. The whole vehicle is beautifully thought out and a really fine piece of work.
So something as complex as that can also be made easy to maintain, not necessarily complex to work on, complex to operate.
I believe they've succeeded in that, yes.
Okay, well thank you very much, Gregor.
Pleasure.